Hi, I'm Soleil Dakota. Welcome to Musical Medicine. We have an upcoming interview with Robert W. Plath, the founder and executive director of the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance and founder of the annual International Forgiveness Day. Bob is a practicing attorney in Marin County, a much beloved man here in the San Francisco Bay Area and around the world for his work with forgiveness. Forgiveness in conflicts of all kinds, in relationships, war, crime, and forgiveness of self. I'd like to share this clip of Bob receiving the 2013 Worldwide Lifetime Champion of Forgiveness Award.
So Bob is one of my heroes. I remember when I started the Forgiveness Project, this was 17 or so years ago. I can't tell you how many conversations I had with Bob on the phone where I got real inspiration from him for persevering and for continuing to do something I knew was right. I continue to respect and appreciate what he does. This is a moment where we're honoring Bob and saying your life made a difference. My friend, you're a worldwide lifetime champion of forgiveness. So God bless. You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. God bless.
Thank you, because I'm overwhelmed.
Forgiveness Day takes place on the first Sunday of August, and 2014 will be the 18th annual International Forgiveness Day. Bob's mission, in his own words, is to bring forth the love of peace around the world. To open the show, I would like to sing a song for you about forgiveness. It's called I Forgive. Hi, I'm Soleil Dakota, and this is Musical Medicine. I'm going to sing a song I wrote called I Forgive. Tonight I'm singing it in honor and celebration of my interview with my dear friend, Robert W. Plath, founder and executive director of the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance. This is for you, Bob. I have walked through the darkest night, being led by the faintest glow of light. Each step I take brings me closer. Each teardrop lifts me up. I forgive you. I forgive. I forgive you. I forgive. I forgive myself. Like a bird takes flight in the deep blue night, I'm singing this song. Flowers grow when the rains fall down. I'm gonna plant a seed in this fertile ground. By grace it seems my heart is opening unexpectedly. An enemy becomes a friend. I forgive you. I forgive. I forgive you.
I forgive myself. Like a bird takes flight in the deep blue night, I'm singing this song. Sing along with me. I forgive you. I forgive. I forgive myself.
It's an honor, my friend, to be sitting here with you. I feel such love and respect for you. We're here to talk about your extraordinary life and the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance and International Forgiveness Day. So welcome, Bob. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Soleil. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
it's an honor to be here.
So happy to have you. You've created this extraordinary platform of International Forgiveness Day, the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance, and I heard Andrew Bozeman say that you started these foundations as a young man at 70 years old. Pretty extraordinary.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, pretty extraordinary. Tell us, what happens at International Forgiveness Day? I know people come and they tell their stories of reconciliation and forgiveness, and you offer workshops.
Well, we try
Tell
to
us
bring,
about
that.
that.
Heroes of forgiveness are champions. A hero is one that's been deeply hurt and made extraordinary efforts and come out as a forgiving the person who perpetrated great harm. And then we also do champions of forgiveness, those men or women who have written books or done research, like Dr. Fred Luskin, Stanford.
That's right.
And that they stand forth as paradigms of power and knowledge. Robert Enright has got written books and so on. He's got 50 schools that are practicing forgiveness in their classes and have tremendous testimonials for what they've done. None of those schools has there been any kid that's been come in with a gun or start shooting.
Is that something? Because he was taught forgiveness, the children were taught forgiveness.
And across the school districts of America, there's a knowledge now, more and more, of teaching forgiveness, teaching good manners, teaching homework of being nice to the neighbor. Simple stuff, but where they're getting away from just the reading, writing, and arithmetic, but getting down to basics so the kid feels better about himself and the other, and then does better in everything in his life.
Oh, that's really important work.
So that he's now living life to the fullness, which we all really need and want to do.
That's right, and to start it out in schools and programs where...
Yeah, they're starting out, Enright starts out 2 years before kindergarten.
Really?
Goes up to the 11th grade.
Are you in touch with him? Are you speaking to him?
I'm in touch with him, and I'm trying to see if we can work together to bring his teachings into California. And there's some programs in California right now that are bringing forth with the kids their emotional aspects that they can control, where they're not triggered so easily into acting badly in their classes and seeking attention, but that actually they give attention and they give love and they give forgiveness, so that these kids feel wanted and not scared, like the average in many of the schools. It's a dog-eat-dog from the beginning.
Right. I'm glad to hear you're doing that work, Bob, at schools.
Well, I'm not. I'm watching it. I'm waiting to see how we can partner with schools to accomplish miracles and get everybody back on the page of loving one another. I'm just one of a few that are, but it is happening.
Let's talk about Representative John Lewis. We
Representative
were.
John Lewis is a wow man. I mean,
He's a wow man.
A wow man in that he is so loving, and he was so loving. So that he was a freedom rider,
Uh-huh.
and he went into the different diners and different apartheid, and was beaten up. One of them was Ellison Wilson,
That's right. That's right.
who was a white supremacist and beat John up, and eventually had remorse and went to Washington and asked John for forgiveness, which John willingly gave because he's so deeply ensconced in forgiveness and love. And the guy's amazing. To me, I'm amazed by his power, the power of his love, and his kindness and his good heart.
Yes.
He's helping me right now with the Congress, where we're going to have an National Forgiveness Day, bring legislation which would bring that forth and make it a day once a year where everybody got into forgiveness and sort of flowed towards each other and loved each other and had fun.
Right.
So John is remarkable. I talked to him the other day.
Did you?
Now, what congressman just comes out of the Congress and just goes down and talks to his constituent, unless the constituent has built up a lot of money that he's given them or something like that. But John, and then he met with his staff, and we're going ahead with what we can do with legislation, which we're trying to get the Senate involved also, Barbara Boxer, and see if we can't make a difference as much as we can in this, by this process. And of course we want to do it to the United Nations too. We need a nation to bring that before the United Nations, but it's perfectly possible, and John is helping us in that regard.
I read some information about you and Representative John Lewis, and he said, forgiveness is the first step on the path of reconciliation. And the idea to set a day aside all over the world where people put aside their differences and begin to make peace with one another is a powerful tool of transformation. And he said that he would like to help you do that, propose legislation. Woohoo! And also to the United Nations.
I welcome all the John Lewises I can get.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We have here at Community Media Center, we have Ed Dukowski has, along with the crew here from the Media Center, has taped a number of International Forgiveness Day celebrations. And I invite you to go on our website, click on Watch, scroll down to On Demand, and search Forgiveness Day. There's clips of Congressman John Lewis. There's clips of Marianne Williamson, Heroes of Forgiveness, Sarah Leahy, Kia Shear, David MacArthur, and Matthew Fox.
Yeah, just some of many. That were all very powerful, wonderful people that changed their lives extraordinarily by that ability to give forgiveness and to receive it.
So inspiring, the stories. I remember the first time that I came to International Forgiveness Day. It was in the park in San Rafael.
Yeah, right.
And John Gray was speaking. It was about 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And our very own John Gray, author of the Mars and Venus books. And he was talking about when his father passed away. And a hitchhiker put his father in a trunk and called the police. He never intended for John's father to die. And he called the police and he asked the police to come. The hitchhiker did.
Yeah.
And the police were late, and his father died in the trunk of the car. And so there was a whole string of people to hold accountable and to blame. And John talked about his journey to forgiveness. It was just so moving and so powerful.
Well, to take off on that, John, trying to give back to the prisoners and so on, actually did a training in San Quentin I was one of the people brought that in there. And all the inmates that came into it, about 30 inmates, they they're tough guys and all that. They have this tough guy pose. But John, pecking away at them, got this one up, and he kept saying, "In fact, you let your kids down and you didn't show up, and how do you feel about that?"
Right.
And the guy said, "Well, I don't feel." And then he started crying. The moment he started crying, the whole group rushed to the outside because the feelings were coming up and they were scared of them. And John came out and said, "You guys get back in here and support this man. Don't just leave him like that." And they did, and it opened up a cascade of memories and everything. It was a tremendous healing process of forgiveness and love for themselves and for their parents and everything that could put them where they were. A lot of people are in jail, no doubt, because they're punishing themselves, and they don't feel worthy of anything but acting out this being streak that's in all of us, which we have to let go of and flush it out with forgiveness.
I remember John Gray talking about, the being in prison and working with the prisoners, and that it was the first time that some of the men could ever feel their feelings because there was someone there to bear witness to their pain.
Right.
In particular, the women who were there. And you went in for a couple years teaching A Course in Miracles.
I went in for 5.5 years.
It's incredible.
We went into 4 separate units, and we had 4 nights of the week that we went in, and we had large gate clearance. We had probably 500 teachers altogether. We were teaching the Course in Miracles, which is also very much basic to forgiveness, and to try to deal with the memories, the thoughts of these people about themselves. And it was sometimes very difficult because they couldn't believe what the Course was teaching, which was that you're a holy son of the higher power, and that you are worthy of everything great and good because you deserve it just by being God's holy son or daughter.
Right.
So it was rather illuminating because you have the shadow that you're bringing the light to, and it resists. The ego fights like crazy not to be usurped.
Yeah, you said to me, one of the prisoners said, "Do you mean to tell me, Mr. Plath, I'm a holy son of God?"
Right. You mean to tell me that I am a holy son of God? That I'm this? I said, "Yeah, yes, but you've got to believe it. You've got to break through the barriers to unconsciousness that keeps you chained. So to rise up and be the powerful, majestic person that you are."
I want to acknowledge the people that have worked with you.
Well, surely, I love it. They're fantastic people. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, you've assembled an extraordinary team, and to offer this platform where people can come and tell their stories and be shining examples for us. And I know that forgiveness just resonates deep in our psyche, and anytime I hear one of these stories, my heart cracks open and I'm just drawn to it and the
That's
possibilities. Great. So you've been offering that for so many years. And thank you for that offering.
Well, thank you for being there, Soleil.
The East Bay International Mass Choir, under the direction of Tyrone Cozy. The choir is greatly beloved throughout the Bay Area for their joyful, spirited singing. Reverend Andrew Bozeman, ordained minister dedicated to revitalizing the African American community spiritually, psychologically, and economically. Father Bob Haberman, director of campus ministry, Dominican University. Will Chang, founder and director of the Absolute Center, a transformational resource. He's past producer of many International Forgiveness Days And I want to thank Will for making our interview possible today.
Yeah, me too. He was great.
Thank you, Will. Dr. John Gray, best-selling author of the popular relationship book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, is a champion of forgiveness. Dr. Frederick Luskin, director of the Stanford University Forgiveness Project, has brought the power of scientific inquiry to the act of forgiveness. He has worked with families in Ireland to bring forgiveness and peace to the war-torn country. Jacinta Martin, who you've worked closely with for many years, you two are a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
She has produced many International Forgiveness Day celebrations with you.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's wonderful.
Krista Reynolds, a mixed lineage yoga teacher and therapist, teaching classroom style and private instruction in the Bay Area for over 12 years. She's leading the Speak to Inspire World Advocacy Training Program. Doctors Gerald and Diane Jampolsky, much beloved for their work, Center for Attitudinal Healing.
Right.
Jane Jennings, who was honored last year. Jane Jennings, in her over 40 years as a chaplain in the Bay Area hospitals tending to the terminally ill. Jane has found that forgiveness is the healing grace that many people facing their final days welcome the most. Jack Cornfield from Spirit Rock,
Right.
who, along with the Alliance, is bringing forgiveness to the Buddhist countries in the world. It's interested in doing
with Jack
that.
in that regard.
Yes.
Reminds me, we have to get on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
Lori Grace, a longtime friend and supporter of International Forgiveness
she's
Day.
been helpful to us being sustained.
And Narda Michael Walden, who rocked the house at
he rocked
International
it.
Forgiveness Day, who was my mentor.
Dear higher power, bear with us and lead us into all sorts of beautiful, lovely life. Woo for him.
And woo for you.
He's so real. He's powerful. He's great. He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's amazing. I went to San Quentin years ago with Narda, and he performed and united just everyone in the prison yard with his music. It was amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a really powerful day. It's a great offering he made. I was thinking the other day about forgiveness. We sat and we talked about forgiveness. And all world religions, indigenous cultures, the Dalai Lama, Buddhist philosophies all incorporate forgiveness.
Right.
And when I asked you the other day what prompted you, what led you to your lifelong work in forgiveness, you went back to your childhood and you shared with me how deeply touched you were by the teachings of Jesus in the parables.
Right.
Tell us about that. I'd love to hear that again, the parables that influenced you lifelong.
I grew up in Detroit, East Side, and it was a pretty tough neighborhood. Not really tough compared to today, in the places like Watts or so on. But I was Catholic, and part of the catechism was Christ's stories. And he had so many. One thing that came across was that where the Old Testament was all about hellfire and damnation, and that the New Testament, led by Christ, was full of forgiveness and love, and all the stories, the parables that he wrote, that he told, the parables were beautiful illustrations of forgiveness. The prodigal son, where the son comes back after he's been living a life of debauchery, is broke and with the swineherds and so on, then comes back towards home, and the father sees him and rushes to embrace him. I mean, that was the story of Christ all the way through. He said, what man would not leave the 99 to go out and rescue the one of the good shepherds? And forgiveness was a way to come back to love and happiness and to God. So that part of you that was God was become more present and more powerful. And then it opens up love, which all you need is love, what the Beatles say. As a lawyer, I found that the people that I've worked with, particularly the criminals, they have a background which was hard on them, brutal, and which had a direct effect of them acting crazy.
So you mentioned
Christ was a way out, a way to get to the purity of what we really represent, what we really are. Underneath everything is this pure, beautiful spirit.
Bob, you said you lose your way, you do harmful, stupid things, and the door is always open to be forgiven and to come back home.
Right. What man would not leave the 99, go out and rescue the one? So that was always open to us, and is open to us right now, every moment. We have to realize it, and we have to trust it, and we have to grow towards it and let it emerge within us, because it's within us. It's nothing we have to search for. It's right there, right now, this moment.
Thank you for bringing that message to us, Bob. Bob, would you talk to us about your work with veterans? I know it's just such a tough thing for veterans to come back home and live with the ravages of war.
Yes, I had personal experience when I was from World War II. In our neighborhood, we had I know my friend Elliot died almost within 6 months after he volunteered, but it was really Bob Mesmer and Stan Mumford went into the Pacific in the Marines, and they served in Iwo Jima and Tarawa, horrible places to try to live and fight through the horror of being fired at when you tried to take an island. The Japanese were ferocious, and they came back, they never were the same. They ended up in the penitentiary several times. And I remember one time when I was in there in the penitentiary in one of the classes where this one guy, Rudy, stood up and said, "Mr. Plath, do you know what it feels like to have a guy shoot at you from a tree and you spot where he is and you can get your rifle and you knock him out of the tree and he drops down dead almost at your feet? Do you know how I feel about that? Do you know how I feel?" I said, "Rudy, you got to forgive yourself. I mean, and the people that put you there, and the people that have put you here. I mean, it's the only way you got to come clean. Somehow pull yourself back together. We're here to try to help to do that, but you are, a good soul, and you're just covered up with guilt and got to release it, and forgiveness is the only way." And I saw too, when we did two free workshops for veterans in the last 3 years, and had a very good instructor in Fred Luskin, the Stanford research man on forgiveness. But what came about is in a realization that no matter how badly they were shot at or how badly they were treated in the combat zones, it was horrible. It's like so horrible that you cannot imagine it. It's unimaginable, and they suffer with it. They go inward so deep, sometimes you can't get them back out. They punish themselves and others. They're part of going into prisons because to punish themselves. But down deep, no matter how much has been done to them, they feel that they cannot forgive themselves. They don't deserve forgiveness. Now, I don't say that's true of everybody, was true of a lot of them. And that's where we began to work and do everything we can to bring forgiveness forth and to bring the condemnation, to break it down and out. So the harm done of war is just vast. And we got to have mercy on our veterans and stay with them as they go through their ups and downs, because some are almost like lost souls. I had one who was in the military in the Pacific, and every time I came to his house, he was playing South Pacific, the music, and he was drinking and drinking and drinking until he died over in the corner of the apartment that he was sharing. So but the good thing about, one thing I feel, a good thing about Obama, he promised to get us out of Afghanistan and out of Iraq and so on, and he's done it. And I think his wife has been very instrumental in that, because she saw the harm. She was up close and met with the veterans and their families, and that's what you got to do. You have first-hand information, then you have the power to do something about it.
Thank you, Bob, for sharing that. And I know you attended the workshops for 2 years that Dr. Fred Luskin offered, the free workshops for veterans.
Right.
And did you see forgiveness, some transformation, some small breakthroughs that the veterans were having at these workshops?
Yes, I felt, talking to the veterans afterwards, they all felt that they gained something from it. Fred kind of just diffuses the terrific, horrible feelings they have about themselves, and brings it into a way of being that lightens that load. So he's remarkably unorthodox, but he gets the job done. And he understands a lot about what forgiveness, how it works, because he has done so much work and research with people and women from Ireland that who lost sons, and they from both sides of the battle.
About that. Tell me now about your law practice and how that influenced you and led you to start the Worldwide
One last thing
Forgiveness
about Fred
Alliance.
Luskin's
Oh,
research.
please, yes.
It found that it created better health, forgiveness did, better relationships, better calmness, a whole range, a gamut of to live better. It's interesting too, because recently Jacqueline Bisset had received a gift from the Golden Globe Award, and she stood up and she started oozing love about forgiveness. Said that if any one woman in America or the world want to be more beautiful, just get into forgiveness. Forgive yourself and the others, and you'll be ecstatic.
Right, you'll radiate.
So we're trying to get her as a hero for forgiveness. But no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you about your law practice and how that influenced you to this work in forgiveness.
Well, I found in my law practice that I was sort of like a tough guy. I went in and I saw that we were the good guys and they were the bad guys. It went all the way back when I was a little kid. And whatever I put out, I began to see that I got back. If I was mean, the other guy got mean. And I began to feel it was much easier to live with forgiveness and just do the job without all the anger and the rage and so on. And you get better results. If you could establish a relationship with the other attorney where both could give each other what we needed, but and then it works magically.
Working
We would settle
cooperation.
cases that you wouldn't even write down to the everything was perfect. But it was so much nicer than if you get down around Los Angeles, you get many attorneys that are bleak. I mean, they're definitely full of anger and they're tough as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And they make it 6 times harder than if you just treat the person civilly.
Mm. Thanks, Bob. Thank you
And
for
I
sharing
found that if my client was the key to the case, if he was solid, honest, and substantial, the jury picked up on that. And if he was phony or putting on big fronts and not being himself or authentic, the jury would throw him out.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the best way to go? Is just take the easy route and have a good time and yet let everybody win.
Good philosophy.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'd like you to have the opportunity to speak out and offer people the opportunity to support the Forgiveness Alliance and International Forgiveness Day.
Yes, we need financing to. We're setting up to work with Robert Enright with kids and with schools. He's got 50 schools that he's got forgiveness into, classes and so on. They're doing remarkably well. Testimonials, no gunshots, no kids acting out against each other. And we want to be a part of helping to get those programs in place everywhere. And I talked to Enright about just doing it in California, and he said he would like to work on that level. But also we want to do more work with the soldiers, and we need financing to do that. I'd like to pay Fred what he deserves and what our staff deserves.
Right.
And we're working with the concept of working with halfway houses like Ormloff and with all kinds of forgiveness everywhere. So we need all the help we can get, and certainly very appreciated.
And how can people donate? They go to your website?
They can go to the website, PayPal, and, or call me up, and
All right.
I certainly would be willing to accept any donations, which we are very appreciative of. I feel that there's so much I could say because I feel so much of the urgency. We want to get these programs in place as soon as possible because I feel like time's a wasting if you, and I know it's hard sometimes for me to ask for money because I feel like spiritually, you shouldn't. But money makes things easier, and you want to pay all the good staff people that you mentioned as so we want to ask for help in that regard because we need it to really do the job well.
All right, thank you for offering that information. So, will you tell us just a little bit about when you established the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance and International Forgiveness Day? That was 18 years ago.
I was, when I was 13, my father fell dead. The first thoughts I had were, good, I'll be the boss, I'll have mother, I'll have the car. I felt very guilt-ridden on that. It took me years.
Telling me that.
Took me years to realize that my only hope was to really live life fully, have more fun, have more relationships that worked, was to forgive. I saw that. I took classes, asked actualizations, LifeSpring, etc. And so it came to me that what about a day that would be representative of forgiveness across the world, where everybody could look at each other and smile and let go of grudges and let go of old debts, but just make it a happy life, which forgiveness does, I believe. So I started just a little circle at the recreation center in Corte Madera.
Really?
Where you toss in any resentments. I invite anybody out there right now watching the our program, do the same, where you throw out those grudges and things that make you feel horrible, and just live life more fully and totally. So I'm going on, I'm sorry.
No, please. That's where you started, right? With the circle, the forgiveness circle.
Right.
Yeah.
And we wanted to honor people that were extraordinary in that. Because their extraordinary ability, when they told it, really made a huge change, and almost everybody that came to the Forgiveness Day gained strength, gained forgiveness, gained love, became stronger and bigger and more powerful.
Forgiveness is the greatest healer.
Forgiveness is, Tutu says, without forgiveness there is no future. Jampolsky said, forgiveness is the greatest healer of them all.
I was talking to Patricia, who directs musical medicine, and I was talking to her about you and our upcoming interview, and I said, this is a man who's just not interested in retiring. He's interested in implementing more programs and raising more funds. And you had said that yet you're on the dark side of the moon and that time is running out. And Patricia said, well, Bob will not be retiring, that he'll be even working from the other side, and that we'll be calling on you for support and for your help.
Yeah, well, I hope it'll be interesting to know what really lies beyond.
Right.
We all get a chance to share that pleasure.
Yeah, that's right. Bob, thank you for being with us today. I'm so
thank
honored
you,
to have
Soleil.
you there.
Thank you.
For all your many years in putting on these extraordinary events, International Forgiveness Day.
Soleil, you're an inspiration to me.
Well, thank you.
Your songs, your love.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Your program, wow, you're saintly. You're a miracle worker.
Thank you, Bob.
I love you.
I love you also. Woohoo! Good night, everyone.
Good night.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Love you.